welcome to episode 81 of the What Shara Made podcast. Welcome back if you are a returning viewer, and a big hello if this is the very first time you're joining me. It has been some time since my last podcast, almost 6 months, and I have got quite a few things to show you. I'm sure you can imagine I have been working on quite a few things in that time. So I've got a big pile of FOs next to me here, and I've got quite a few whips on the other side of me here. I might start with my FOs so we can get through those first. I've got some that I've made from my own designs and some from other people's patterns. And I might just start at the top of the pile. I've got this beautiful piece here, which is, I had to look up the name. It's by Boris and Stasha, and it is the Boboro hat. I'll put the name down here, of course. Yeah, so lovely. And I used a yarn that is actually sitting underneath my tripod here. I can't pull it out or I'm going to knock my camera over. And it is I can't remember the name of the yarn, so I'll put it here. It's facing the other way and I just can't see what it's called. Outlaw yarn. And it's NYX by Outlaw. I don't think they make it anymore. I think this might have been, I got this yarn when it was on its last run. The colour is parchment and it is a silk Polworth blend. I believe it's beautiful. It is so nice. An alpaca pom-pom. But this was such a lovely pattern to make. It was a really quick knit, except for the 4 kilometres of twisted rib here, which took forever. That twisted rib brim took twice as long as the rest of the hat to knit. It's a lot. It's a lot of twisted rib. Anyway, once I got past that, the rest of the hat just flew by. It was beautiful, really well written pattern, really lovely to make. And after I finished it, I wore it out that night and lost it. I lost this hat, and a lovely person found it, and because it had my little Shara Made label on it, that lovely person tracked me down on Instagram and contacted me, sent me a message and said, "Did you lose a hat?" I was like, "Yes, I lost a hat," and they got it back to me. How nice is that? What a gem of a person to do that. So I'm really glad that that person found my hat that I dropped while I was out. So yeah, I didn't even get to wear it for like 2 hours, and then I popped it in my pocket while I was going between places, and it fell out of my pocket, and I didn't have it when I got to the next place, and I was quite upset. But never mind, it found its way back to me, so that was some good luck. So that's my first FO. My next FO is this one here, and it's actually a little bit difficult to see the colour. It's not coming through very well on the screen. That's probably a little bit better, but it's sort of a teal colour. It's coming through with a little bit of red on it, but it's not at all. It's very much a teal colour, and it is a merino yak alpaca blend, and it is beautiful. It is such a nice yarn, and this is one of my patterns. It's very simple, but sometimes that's all you need, and it's called the Himalaya, or Himalaya, however you like to pronounce it, beanie, and that pattern will be released very soon. It's been tested and it's just in the final stages of editing, and it should be released any day now. And it has a tubular cast on. I'm not sure how well that's showing up there on the screen. tubular cast on, which was one of my favourites for hats and such, with a 2x2 rib brim, and has a really nice crown decrease situation happening here. It's very simple, and it's nice and stretchy, and it's suitable for men and women, and the length is customizable, of course. Really beautiful, simple hat for when you just want something nice and simple. You could put a pom-pom on it if you wanted to. So yeah, that's my Himalaya pattern, and that will be coming out any day now, and you'll be able to find it on Etsy and Ravelry. So that's my second FO. Now this one, not all the ends are woven in and it hasn't been blocked, but the actual knitting part is finished. And this is my Forest Vibes sweater by, I can't remember her name, which is a shame because she's a very, very talented designer. My apologies that I can't remember your name. But the Forest Vibes sweater, and I'll put the name down here. So there we go. And you can see that it does need blocking because the waistband is curling up inside. I'm sure even without blocking, once you get it on your body, the waistband's not going to be doing that because your body will be holding that out. But that is my Forest Vibes sweater. I can't wait to wear this. Oh, there's a bird having a little conniption outside my window. I don't know if you can hear that. So I can't wait to wear it. I'm really excited. And the weather has turned freezing all of a sudden. We've had several mornings where it's been below zero this week. So yeah, we had our coldest May morning in 70 years yesterday. So that was exciting. So yeah, really loving it. This is such a clever pattern. It was so beautifully written, really easy to do. You must love purling because pretty much the whole jumper is pearls, except for the odd knit stitch here. You can't knit it inside out, which is what I would normally do in anything that was in reverse stocking stitch. I'd just knit it inside out, but not this one, you can't do that. So yeah, must love pearls. Which didn't bother me. It's sort of a little bit, at one stage it did bother me because I just wanted to get it finished, so I did a bit of power knitting and I did get a little bit of a tinge of pain in my little finger because I was doing so much purling, but besides that it was no big deal. And yeah, it's nice finishing where you turn the collar in, or the neckband in, and Kitchener stitch it down. So it has a lovely finish there. I did have to go up a needle size to do the collar, or it probably wouldn't have fit over my head, but now it's, yeah, nice and stretchy. But yeah, I do love the way everything fit together. It's a bottom-up construction, so you do the sleeves first, so you've got two separate sleeves hanging around, and then you do the body from the waist up, and then you join your sleeves onto your body and then do the yoke all together. So it's quite clever, and all the lines of these trees come together and meet up in the neckline, in the neck band here. It's quite beautiful. So I really enjoyed this, making this. I hope I enjoy wearing it just as much. The yarns I used were 2 strands of a mohair lace and 1 strand of a 5-ply merino. So I think it's going to be very warm. Yeah, very warm. But it's still quite light. It's not, it's a good warmth for weight ratio. It's not too thick either, but still very, very warm. So that's my next FO. I might skip this next FO and save it till later because it's quite large and I'll probably have to stand up to show you. So that one can get saved till later. So my next FO is this one here. Bit difficult to see on the screen, but you get the idea. And this is see-through here. This V at the front is sheer, and the name of the pattern is Sheer V Sweater. The glue is in the name. Sheer V Sweater. So yeah. Sorry, it's blowing out the screen a bit, but you get the idea. And I'll put the name of that and the designer here. And this was also a really nice knit as well, very quick and really clever the way it's made and super simple. I thought it was going to be much more complicated than it was to make. So easy. I'm considering maybe making another one in different colours. I actually learned some new skills while I was making this one, so that's always nice when you make a pattern. But it is a bit big. I did, of course, check my gauge before I started, and I checked all the measurements and thought, yeah, I know what size I need to make so that it fits the way I want it to. But once I was finished, it was a lot bigger than I'd hoped. My gauge is still correct and everything, but the actual sizing, according to the schematic, is a little bit different to the finished size of the garment. And I think it has also stretched a little bit too, maybe. And the type of cast on, this is also a bottom-up design, the type of cast on that is used is extremely stretchy, so it doesn't hold the waistband in the way that I would like. So the waist has stretched out and it's not coming back in. It's got a lot of stretch, no recoil, which is a bit of a bummer. So it's a bit flappy around the waist, which isn't the style I was hoping for. So I'm possibly considering doing a bit of sweater surgery on it and doing a tighter waistband with a tighter, so I will have to cut the waistband off, pick up the live stitches and knit the waistband down, so it'll be a cast off rather than, because it was begun waist up, rather than a cast on. But that's the only way I can see to amend that part of the design. Also, it's made using 2 strands of yarn held together, a strand of the mohair lace and a strand of 4-ply merino. And I had 1 ball of Bendigo Woolen Mills merino in the mocha colourway, a 4-ply, and I thought I had 2 balls of it when I started this jumper, and happily knitting away, and when that ball was getting low, I thought, oh, I better dig out that 2nd ball of mocha, and I only had 1 ball. I didn't have 2 balls, and there was no way I was going to be able to finish the sleeves with only 1 ball, so I thought, oh well, I guess I just have to buy a new ball. Went on the Bendigo Woolen Mills website, and mocha was one of the colours that they discontinued earlier this year, so I was like, great. And then I searched high and low everywhere for another colour that might vaguely blend in with that colour, mocha. Absolutely no other brown in the world that's even vaguely like that. So I got the next closest thing that I could get my hands on, which is 100% not a match whatsoever. 100% different. Which was some Zilana sock yarn. It was the closest thing I could find. And then I tried to blend it in on the sleeves. Obviously I didn't do that great a job. It was the best thing I could do with two 100% different colours of brown, but whatever. I tried to make it look like a design feature. So on the ends of both sleeves, we have this happening. They're both identical, both the ends of the sleeves are the same, but yeah, not the same. You'll also now possibly be able to hear my next door neighbours, but anyway. Yeah, so I did have to, blend some other yarn in on the sleeves, which was annoying, but never mind. But I have worn this jumper a few times now, and I really like it. It's really comfortable to wear. It's just not very flattering because it's too big and it's really flappy at the waist, and it's so I've sort of been tucking it into my jeans a bit, and I don't know, it still looks alright. No one said, hey, your jumper looks rubbish, but I don't know, hopefully no one would ever do that to anyone else. But I might amend the waistband perhaps, but yeah, love the idea of it. Now my next one, whoops, had my foot on. This one, I'm not sure if I've shown you this before, but it wouldn't have been complete when I showed it to you last time. So I wonder if we can see, well, you can sort of see the detail on the front there. And I just realised I haven't got one of my other pieces with me, but it doesn't matter, I'll show you next time. This is made with, I think it's called Velvet Bohème, that I got from Hobby. I think I spoke about Hobby last time in my last episode, and it's like a chenille or a velveteen yarn. It's not that easy to work with, but I really like the fabric that it's come up with. It's really interesting and fun. And the pattern I've used is, I've made it a few times before. It's by Nora Garn, and it is called the Cropped Cabled Sweater with the Fennec Cable. It's a little bit difficult to see the detail here, but you get the idea. And I love this jumper. I have worn it so many times. It's really comfortable to wear. It's really, really light. I think this maybe weighs 150 grams. It is so light. It's beautiful. I love it. It sort of is coming up a little bit purple on here, but it's actually sort of a dusty, sort of a denim colour. Love this one. Wasn't that easy to knit with, but it was worth it because I love it so much. Now this one is actually the exact same pattern, just a different yarn. So you get more of an idea of what the cable pattern looks like. So now this one is a linen yarn. I think it might be a linen cotton blend, and it's from Knit Picks, and it's called Lindy Chain. So it's like a chainette construction. Also not the easiest yarn to knit with. It is a bit tricky to knit with this yarn, but I don't know, you just go slow and it's not too bad. But yeah, I finished this one in the warmer weather, so I was getting a lot of wear out of it. When it was a bit warmer, but it's not so practical now when it's freezing because it doesn't keep you very warm. Yeah, just plain on the back. Now, you might be wondering what I'm wearing. I think I showed you this in my last episode. My Junction sweater by Andrea Mowry, and I think I've done the body and half a sleeve or something in the last episode, but it's obviously complete now. Just blowing the screen out, but you get the idea. My next door neighbour is singing out in his outdoor area, so I don't know if you can hear that, but anyway, free concert. So it has a brioche yoke, which was really fun and easy to do, and then colour work on the sleeves and the body, and it was really fun knit, really enjoyed it. I did a knit along with some friends, and yeah, really loving it. I've been wearing this one to death, love it so much. And the yarns, I used a sparkly sock yarn for the contrast, and it's really showing up the sparkles. I've got some little studio lights here, and it's really catching the sparkles. And the main colour is a Zilana sock yarn. I think it's called Cozy or Cozy, C-O-Z-I, and it's a possum merino nylon blend, and it's so warm and lovely, beautiful, and it's wearing really well. It's not pilling at all, it's not going fuzzy, it's beautiful. I can highly recommend it as a jumper yarn. I have made socks out of it before, but not for myself, for other people. So I'm guessing it works well for socks, but it's excellent jumper yarn. It hasn't stretched out of shape or anything like that either, so yeah, it's really keeping its shape. It's working beautifully, absolutely loving it, getting heaps of wear out of this lovely jumper. I can recommend the pattern, and the yarn worked really well. So my next one, you may remember this one from the last episode. I made this from my own pattern, and I hadn't blocked it in the last episode, and I've blocked it now, and it really benefited from a blocking. It took on a real life of its own after the blocking. It grew, but in all the right ways. The sleeves are proper billowy size and shape now, and it grew in length as well, which was really what I was hoping it would do, because it was a little short pre-blocking. And I probably mentioned in the last episode I had done the neckline a little too short. I hadn't been generous enough with the amount of stitches that I'd picked up in the neckline, because this one was just a prototype really, and it had sort of pulled the front up a bit, so I was trying to sort of stretch it down a bit in the blocking, and it worked well, but it still is, yeah, I still would have liked the neckline to have had more stitches in it. But it's still very wearable, and I'm still getting a lot of wear out of it. I've been, yeah, wearing it around and love it. Really comfortable to wear, really nice to wear, just as it is, sort of like a blouse, I guess, or to wear it over the top of something as well. Wear it underneath a jacket. But then, because I used that as a prototype to work out sizing and things like that, I then made a second one, this one here, and this one was a lot more successful. So I was a lot more generous with the amount of stitches I picked up around the neck, and that was quite obvious to me, particularly when I tried it on and it wasn't like pulling at the back, and it sat much more nicely on the front, and it wasn't pulling up at the waist either. So that issue had been resolved, and I picked up a lot more stitches on the arm, so they were a lot more billowy, which is the look that I wanted. And and I gave it a little more length in the body as well, and that was that issue resolved. But there weren't that many changes that I made from the original one. It's still a very functional and practical jumper that I'm getting a lot of wear out of, and I get so many compliments when I wear this top. Yeah, everyone loves it, so that's really nice. But yeah, that's my little... So I'm working on writing up the pattern now so that I can send it off to testers, and I'll do a little call out for testers as well when it's ready for that. But yeah, it's a nice little piece, very plain, super easy to knit, like nothing wacky in the construction. If you can knit, you can purl, and you can do basic picking up of stitches, you'll be fine. You can make one of these. And I've also, you'll see in my whips, trying the same pattern but with different types of yarn, and I think it's going to be really successful, so that's good. Yeah, super basic but really effective, so that's good. My next FO, was one that I've shown in a few episodes, but sporadically because it took a very long time to finish. So that is, just make sure I've actually got it facing the right way. Yeah, here. My Puzzle pie shawl. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you. Why is that joined onto that? Oh good, they're tied in a knot. So here it is. I probably can't show you, but you get the idea. Maybe I can stand up, probably won't make any difference. Well, you get the idea. So this is my Puzzle shawl by the Sweater Collective, and I knit it in 2-ply black linen. So if you really hate yourself and you want to punish yourself, knit a pie shawl in 2-ply black linen. Do not recommend. 0 out of 1 on the fun scale. 0 out of 10. Yeah, it's it was a trial. The pattern is beautifully written, really fantastic. Could not rate the pattern more highly. Really fantastic. But do yourself a massive favour. Don't choose linen and don't choose black. Yeah, choose something much more practical and much more fun to knit, like wool, and choose a colour that's really easy to see. So yeah. However, despite saying that black and linen was not fun to knit, I'm loving wearing it. Like the end result, love it, love it, love it. It is so cool. And then when I put the tassels on, they were really like scraggly and a bit curly because I was using the last remnants of my black linen. So I got my hair straightener out and went on every single little tassel and gave it a little straighten, and it made the world of difference. So if you've got wiggly tassels, yeah, get your hair straightener on it. Just give it a little and they'll be cool. But yes, I've gotten a lot of wear out of this over the... Not so much now that it's cooled down a bit, and I want to wear more. I want to wear more wool, but yeah, over the warmer months, I got a lot of wear you can't really see it in this light, but yeah, I got a lot of wear out of this when it was going out in the evenings, and there was just a chill in the air, but not enough to warrant wearing wool, but you just want to wear just a little bit, or just wearing it over my shoulders if I was wearing a sleeveless dress or something. Very nice. Wrap that around. Yeah, practical in so many ways, but yeah, heaps of wear out of that one, so I'm so glad I persevered. And then after I finished it, I actually really enjoyed the pattern, and there's a half pie version as well rather than the full pie. This is the full pie version, obviously. I had some cotton yarn that I really liked, and I made the half pie version, and I did that in 2 days. So that one took me almost 2 years to finish, and the half pie version took me 2 days. I don't have that now because I gave it to someone else, but yeah, and I did that in 8 ply, and so that was much better, much easier to make. So yeah, it's a good pattern, really good pattern, love it. So now this is my last FO, and it's very large and it weighs a ton. So here it is. Not a blanket, but it's almost a blanket. This is called the Montana Pocket Shawl by Tina. I'll put the name here. Sorry, Tina. And it's huge, and it really weighs a lot. So here we go. I can't see what I'm showing you, but I'll just guess that it looks fine. And you can see the pockets here. I might stand up and see if I can show you what it looks like. So if we put it on, there's pockets down here somewhere. In a pocket. Where's my pocket? Here. So, and I've got my hands in the pockets and the pocket. So yeah, you wear it over your shoulders like that, and you can't see me, but I've got my hands in the pockets. So it's a pretty cool wrap situation. And I finished that a while ago. I haven't actually worn it anywhere because it's very heavy and very long, and hang on. We haven't had a cold enough night when I've been out. We are back in lockdown, and I was going to wear it out to a party this weekend, but I can't because we're in lockdown again. So it's missed its first outing, and I guess I'll just have to wait for another cold weekend. When there's a party, then wear it to that. But it was very fun to make, and they had lots of clever new skills in it that I had definitely never done before. It's mosaic crochet, so I'll show you the underside. That's the back, which is pretty cool as well. That's the front, obviously. I really love the fringe on it. Yeah, really loved it. I did it in Bendigo Woolen Bells, a combination of the tweed and the rustic, and I love it. I've also been using it on my bed as a blanket as well. yeah, a very fun design. Easy to follow. Really enjoyed it, and probably wouldn't make another one because it took forever, because it's massive. Even though I'd love a blanket like that, I don't know if I could. Yeah, I don't know if I could bring myself to do it because it requires a lot of patience. But yeah, really enjoyed it. Love it. Can't wait to actually wear it somewhere once we get out of lockdown, if we ever do. So, yeah. And that is all my FOs. So now I'm going to move on to my whips. So, earlier when I was showing you my other jumpers, my mohair jumpers, I said I was making one using some different yarn. So this is it here. This is how it begins, like this. So that's the back and the front, obviously, and the armholes. So it's sort of like you're making a singlet or a vest. So knitting down the body. And this yarn here is a 10 ply. It's very, very light. As in the weight of it is very light, not the thickness of it. And it is called Winter Glow, I believe. I don't have the label. I thought I had it sitting here. Pardon me. It's called Winter Glow, and that's also from Hobby. So this is not sponsored by Hobby. I just happen to have a lot of Hobby yarn on the go at the moment. So that's the yarn there. Very interesting. A massive ball, same size as my head. It feels really lovely, and it looks pretty cool. And I think it's going to be a nice. I think it's going to be nice. Look alright. And so far, it's coming out exactly the same size as the mohair ones, but I'm using the same stitches and the same row count. I've been following my pattern to the letter, but I've also been measuring it against the sweaters that I've already made, the mohair ones, just to make sure it's exactly the same. And it is so far, which is really good. That means the pattern is very versatile, and you can use different yarns with it, which is fantastic. So you can substitute different yarns. If you don't want to make a mohair one, you can make one out of 10 ply, which is fantastic. And I might try it with some other yarns as well, just to see what happens. And I just did this last night, so after dinner, so it doesn't take long to make at all. And I was fighting around doing other stuff as well. I wasn't just sitting there dedicated doing this. So it's super quick, like I mean really fast to knit. So I'm hoping maybe I'll get the body done tonight, so probably about maybe that much more knitting on the body, and it's just knitting, plain knitting in the round. I even watched something with subtitles last night while I was doing this. That's how simple it is. So that should be good. I'll get down to the waistband tonight, fingers crossed. And yeah, hoping to maybe do sleeves tomorrow, and or at least one sleeve anyway, and maybe I'll have a jumper by the time I come out of lockdown, maybe. Wishful thinking. So that's that whip coming along there. And so since lockdown started maybe 4 days ago, I've cast on 3 jumpers. That's okay. You can do whatever you like in lockdown. There's no rules. So for those of you playing at home, I'm in Melbourne and this is our 4th lockdown. Now, this here is the Stone Crop Pullover by Andrea Mowry, and it's something that I planned on making in 2019 and never got around to it, so I thought now is as good a time as any. And I actually had other yarns set aside for it, but something made me grab these 2 yarns instead. So they're just from Stash. And I'm not very far into it yet. It's a super slow knit. I don't know if other people found it really, really slow going, but I'm finding it super slow, which is a little bit frustrating for me. I'm normally a very fast knitter, and I've had to really take my time on this. But that's okay. So this is what we've got so far. Not a whole lot. But it's pretty cool. What I do have is really interesting. I'm really enjoying it. I'm just trying not to pull it off my needles. So let's see what we've got so far. Can't see a whole lot of the colour work just yet, but we've got this round of bubbles which took about 4,000 years. They're done with a crochet hook, and if you're left-handed, good luck with that, because there's only a right-handed version to do it. I'm left-handed, and it's just lucky that I can crochet both left-handed and right-handed, because if I could only crochet left-handed, it would have been a huge struggle to do those bobbles. Yeah, I'm not sure what left-handed people do in this situation. But yeah, I mean, strictly left-handed people, you'd have to take on some right-handed qualities to do that, or figure out a different way to do the bobbles. They do look excellent though. They are particularly bobbly bobbles, so it's worth persevering, but it did take ages, like probably more than an hour to do that round of bobbles, and that's crazy. But whatever. And there's several more rounds of those bobbles that'll have way more stitches in them, but never mind, they look cool. And I did notice, reading other people's notes, that they did omit the bobble round, and I thought, oh, that's a shame, and now I know why. But never mind. So it's looking good. I'm enjoying the colours. I was a bit worried that maybe they wouldn't have enough contrast, but they look okay. The main colour is this yarn here. Don't know if you'll be able to read what that says. I also can't read what it says because I haven't got my glasses on. It's quite fancy writing and it's in another language. It's possibly Lithuanian. I've had this yarn for 6 or 7 years. It's just been sitting in stash. Texarena, maybe? But it's pure wool. It smells very woolly, very lanolin-y. It's very lightly processed. It's quite toothy, but it's just natural colour. Don't know how well that's showing up on screen, but it's just natural undyed colour. And then I've got this ball of, bit hard to see the true colours on there, but this is Ren and Ollie in the Nymph colourway, and it's so soft that I'm hoping maybe it might soften up this one a bit. I know this one's going to soften up after a wash, but yeah, I'm hoping with a little bit of this it'll soften up a bit more too. So that is my Stone Crop sweater by Andrea Mowry. I'm also a little bit worried but I don't want to pull it out. About the size of this neckline, and it's real loose. Yeah, it's quite gapey. Like, that's a huge neckline. I don't know. I guess it's okay. It seems a little flappy. That's all. But I don't know. I have used smaller needles for the neckline. Like, considerably smaller needles. I went down more than it's stated in the pattern. But yeah, it does seem a little flappy. But we'll see. So that's that. And my third jumper that I've cast on during lockdown is another one of my mohair jumpers. So the same as the green one and the rust coloured one. And I haven't gotten very far on this. I just wanted to see what the yarn looked like, really. So we've got this bit so far. That's all, a little flap. But the yarn looks pretty cool. It's pretty wild, this one. But yeah, that's what we've got so far. So that's these two here. They're pretty wacky. And that's what we've got coming up. But it looks interesting. It looks good. I've had this yarn for a really long time as well. Thought I'd better get it out and use it. But I thought, yeah, that might make a pretty interesting, pretty bright jumper. So that's the third lockdown jumper. My next whip is a really little one. And it was mainly because I wanted to experiment with some new needles. I'd seen quite a few people talking about the Addy Crazy Trios, I believe they're called. Got them here. I've got the box here. There. So I'd seen quite a few people online talking about them and saying they really, really loved them. So I thought, I might try a pair. And I've got some toe-up socks sitting on some now. And I've been giving them a go. And maybe they take a bit of getting used to, just like all things. I don't hate them. But they're a little bit slow. They're definitely nowhere near as fast as using 9-inch circulars, but they're giving a nice enough result. They're better than doing magic loop, but not as good as 9-inch circulars. But because you can't do a whole toe-up sock on 9-inch circulars, and at some point you do have to do either magic loop or DPNs, however you could do a whole sock on just these. That would be an advantage, I guess, whether you're doing toe up or toe down, cuff down. So that is an advantage of these. They're nice enough to use though, but I did find that I do have to really push my stitches along to get them over the join, and that is not fun. Any needles, any circular needles or these, where you have to do that, not cool. The join doesn't look that big or feel that big when I run my fingers over it, but trying to get my stitches over it, which definitely aren't tight, is a pain, and I have to physically push my stitches over it, and that's not cool. Your stitches should just be moving freely on your needles. They shouldn't be, you shouldn't have to be physically having to shove them over the join that's a pain. And I can feel them like dragging over that join, which is really not good. Whereas my other circulars and 9-inch circulars, or if I'm using magic loop, don't do that. They just zoom straight across. So that is a downer. Maybe I'll get used to that feeling and it won't be so noticeable, but at the moment it's very noticeable. But I'm going to persevere with it and see if I get more used to the movement and the actions. But yeah, it's been an interesting experiment, that's for sure. And I'll see how I go with them. And I can see them coming in handy for other things, and perhaps sleeves and things like that, where 9-inch circulars are too small, but 40 centimetre circulars are too big. So you want something in between. I can see these coming in handy for that, for sure. So yeah, that was an interesting little experiment. Now I have got one more whip. So this one here is, really lovely one. I'm really excited about working on. Just don't want to pull any stitches off. It's my strata shawl, so one of my patterns, and I'm using this really beautiful yarn from my local yarn shop called Clover Mohair Tweed. It's beautiful. It's really nice yarn in 7 different colours. So I'm wondering how well I can actually show you this, because there's a lot of stitches on my circular needle at the moment, but you'll be able to get the idea. So, got like a cobalt blue, dark purple, purple, magenta, red, and now an orange. And there's more to come. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I've got one more colour to come. I don't think I've got it in this bag, but it's like a deep burnt orange. No, I don't. No, I don't have it in here. So yeah, so have the one, then like a mesh, and some pinstripes, and some wee bubbles, and some more stripes, and then a double moss. So yeah, this is coming up nicely. It's I don't know how obvious that is, but it's a triangle shaped shawl. And it's going to come out nice and big when it's blocked, and this yarn blooms really beautifully when it's blocked, and it's going to look really gorgeous, I think. So I'm really excited about that. It shouldn't take too much longer to finish, so when I finish that jumper that I was showing you, the blackish one, I'm going to get onto this and finish this, and that'll be my other lockdown project. So really excited about that too. So that is all my current whips and all my recent FOs. I've got a few more FOs, but I've either left them in the other room or I've given them away. So there are some others, but I don't have them with me right now. And there's probably more whips as well, but I don't have them in this room. So I hope you're all keeping well, and the weather is being kind to you, and I will see you all again soon. But before I go, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has reached out to me either on Instagram or Ravelry or email or YouTube or Facebook, just to check that I'm okay, because there is such a gap between episodes. Thank you so much. That is really, really kind. And yes, I am okay. Just really busy and taking my time between episodes, just keeping busy with knitting, as you can see. But that is really, really kind and nice of everyone who did that. Thank you very much. And I hope everyone is keeping well, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.